Hello, welcome to Orphan Espresso. I'm Doug.
I'm Barb.
This is Pharos Technical Bulletin number 4, covering alignment of the grinding burr. Some people having a bit of an issue once they've taken the machine apart, getting the satisfactory alignment at a very tight setting. And so, having built enough of these grinders, I have a few tweaks that I've done with the assembly process, specifically concerning alignment. So first, we'll build Pharos number 105 and align the burr using the special techniques that we'll talk about in a bit. So, to wit, this is Pharos 105. I hear a little dog barking out there.
He heard me do the shipping in today.
Oh.
He thinks it's time to go in.
Time to go in and play. Alright, we install the outer burr, springs, center plates, align the holes. Start the nuts. Often the most tedious little part is to get these nylon. There we go. Okay, using a power drill. With the hex on it, I set the clutch setting at 4, which is not too much. Whoop. Then I loosen them all one turn. To give a gap between the burr and the plate. So the outer burr floats. Stand. Or cylinder. Holes. In the burr, you'll notice that it kind of rides. I don't know if you can see that part, but it kind of rides along on the axis. Funnel. This way, bottom plate, set the bearing, use a lock seal thread lock, dot, 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 dot. Now, 105 is assembled. What remains to do is to finish the assembly and align the burr. And this is the critical phase that some people are having a bit of trouble with. I find it to be no problem. One thing, the first thing you want to do is tighten these 3 down, not extremely tightly. I use my drill set at a clutch torque setting of 2. Tighten these down. While feeling the bolt covers to make sure. I want to tighten it until the bolt covers are just snug, that they don't move. Because I'm up against my very low flight setting. I'm still moving a little. That one's good. That one's good. Okay, I can still turn them, but just barely. Okay? Now, you saw that I started out by tightening this nut and pulling the inner burr up inside. Now, at this point, all of the components are tight. The outer burr is tight against the plate here, and it will not move. This is our primary alignment. Now, what you want to notice is check these 4. The gap that we created by loosening all the 4 nuts, the gap that we created now is taken up. And so these all 4 should be loose. If one of them is binding, if one of it is not wiggly and loose, check it with your hex tool to see if it's simply bound in the holes, and you make sure that these are all 4 are nice and loose. Okay? Now, I'll spin my handle on. Of course, it'll be my luck if I want to demonstrate this, is that I got it perfect the first time out, which does happen. At this is extremely tight setting. I've tightened the burr, I've tightened the adjustment nut against the burr, then I've tightened the bolts. So this nut is very tight. It is 0 minus. So let's loosen it up and find our 0. When I do this to find 0, I generally lay it down on its side because you can see the gap at the top. Pull the burr axle upward, creating this gap. I can go farther if I want to, but there's no reason to do this. I just want to spin it down until it stops. See that? It just stops there. That's what I call 0. Okay? Set it back on its feet. I go down until these 2 touch. Now I'm going to set this at an 1/8. This is very, very close setting. I'll go ahead and tighten it up so we don't have any doubt about where we are. Wouldn't you know? Perfect. When I turn this, there's no rubbing at any point. You saw when I had the machine upside down that the burr has a tendency to ride on a 180 degree plane. It doesn't sit at every point of the 360 degrees, the outer to the inner burr. Now, this is the action that you want. Let's just say you have a rub. Wouldn't you know it, Barb, that I did,
You knew it would happen
I knew it
that
would happen
way.
this way. Okay, let's just say you have a rub. You turn it around and it goes over on this side. I'll tell you what, I'll create a rub. How about that? Create a rub by knocking the burr in a little harder. Ooh, now we got it. Hear it?
Yes.
Okay, do you see what I did? I hit the outer burr that way with the hammer, creating a rub on one portion. Now this often happens when you're assembling the machine. You also notice that if you have a bad rub, really tight one, all right, that one, these two nuts, these two bolts are not as loose as these two. This one doesn't move at all. That one's tight. So the burr, the outer burr, is off in that direction. It's against this side of the rub is over here. Okay? So to take that rub out, you find where it is, particularly if you have a tight bolt. That one's tight. So you come back over here and you just do the opposite. Take your hammer, a rubber hammer, mallet, and tap it back. Rub gone. Now you can, and you're loose. You can ultra align this as many times as you want to, just by knocking the burr around. If one of these is tight, if it's, you just hit it back that way. You can't hurt this thing, so you can always start over. So if you're finding an asymmetric rub, look at that.
That's nice.
It's nice. It's just around and around, and it's in an 8th setting, so it's very close. If you want to hyper align this, you can set it at a 16th and closer and closer and closer until you can actually make it rub all the way around, and you can feel it through the handle. But it's the as I said, if you have a rub anywhere, leave the machine sitting, find where it is, and the tight bolt is a good indication of where that rub is.
And you tap it on the side.
I tap
Opposite?
Usually I start out tapping it opposite, but you can tap it too far, or you can misinterpret, so then you go over to this way and you tap it back. Since you can't hurt it and you're really, really trying to align this, you actually hit the outer burr itself, and you make the burr slide on this plate. Now, once you have it like you want it, 105, perfect at a 1/8 setting, I go up and I set one click up, and I retighten all these so there's no movement at all. I take all of the play. If you're using a hand tool rather than one of these, you can tell because these don't move. They become, see, this one's spinning still. Now it's stationary. Same here. All right. And check it again. Still good. Still very good. So this was the build. Here we have 105, Pharos 105. And doing a special alignment procedure to get an ultra precise alignment at an extremely tight setting. I hope this helps some people. You actually just move the burr around with a mallet. These are a nice little checking point. They should be nice and loose and rattly. This is the sound you should hear when it's correct. That's the sound of these small bolts rattling. There's no binding at any of these points. Everything is aligned and ready to go. This is 105 special alignment, and I hope this helps.